Good Friday afternoon and evening, wherever you may be. Thanks for joining us live today. We're here live. It's Friday.
Yes, we're alive.
It's the first Friday in December, isn't it?
Is it? Yes. Is it December? Oh, it's already December.
It's December.
Then it is the first. Yeah, you're right.
By the way, if you're new here, you don't know who we are, that's probably a good thing, but we're going to tell you anyway. My name's Darren. This is Victor over here to my left, your right, and we are the co-host of a podcast called DevOps Paradox. And on Fridays, we do this live stream. It started during the year 2020, in case you're watching this in the future. And if you understood what happened in 2020, you understand when we started something in 2020. And we have a podcast that comes out every Wednesday at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. And we decided to start this live stream just to hang out with people and talk and just to see and decompress. Let's put it that way. Let's decompress. And as Vladislav says, good Friday, people. You're muted. You're muted.
Hey, Vladislav.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
This is going to be a great show. I can already smell it.
You see that we are ready for whatever is coming, which I don't know what it is.
No. Well, we actually know a little bit. But and if you got some questions as we go through things, just go and put them over in the chat over there. But the first things first is you must grab your drink. Today I have lime. Victor has alcohol of some flavor.
Beer today.
Beer today.
Yep. We're working remote. Nobody knows whether we're drinking at work or not. Unless you stream live, then it's a bit complicated.
Then it's, yeah, which is why I don't drink ever. Okay, but we won't go there for right now. What is going on here? Hang on just a second. That's weird. Why did that not work? Okay, anyway, we're back here. This week's episode with PJ Haggerty from Mattermost. Mattermost has to be feeling pretty good about themselves this week. With Slack being acquired. Happened? Well, not that
Slack being acquired.
Slack being acquired now, since HipChat is dead. Microsoft Teams is going nowhere. The last two standing right now are Discord and Mattermost.
No, I don't agree with that. I don't think that Microsoft Teams are not going anywhere. Actually, I think that Microsoft Teams has like 10 or more times more users than Slack.
No. What I meant was Microsoft Teams is not going to be acquired.
Yes. Exactly.
That's what I meant by there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Microsoft Teams is going up. It's a great platform. As much as I like to bash Microsoft, Teams is very, very good.
And actually, I think that people are screaming, Slack acquired all of that stuff. It's a good thing for Slack financially.
Oh, yeah.
Because what Slack cannot do is they cannot penetrate really large enterprises, big accounts. That's why Teams is winning. Teams is winning, literally, from the number of users. And when I say number of users, I don't mean like you and me, what do we like more, what do we use more, and all that stuff. I mean, do they sell 10,000 licenses to a company? No. Right? Small companies, yes. Small accounts, yes. Individuals like you and me, yes. Yeah. Our companies are using Slack. Both of our companies are using Slack, but that's a small account. Yeah. Now try to go to a huge bank. You will not pass the security. No. That's how it works.
Yep. Marco, welcome. And Vladislav did bring it up. Beer it is. Cheers. There you go. Okay. So anyway, if you haven't listened to that episode with PJ from Mattermost, do that. The title was interesting. It was called Mattermost Saves a 30-Year-Old D&D Campaign. Most people in our space probably played D&D or some sort of gaming. I never did. I was from the backwoods of North Carolina. Dungeons and Dragons, we didn't understand that. It's just like, we didn't. First time I heard of Dungeons and Dragons, literally, was when I was in college.
So yeah,
I was out of...
over there, any game that requires creative thinking is not the thing.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, where I grew up, it's basically, do you have sticks? Do you have a slingshot? That's what we had. That's all we needed. Let's get into the news. What's new in Kubernetes 120? There's only one thing that's new in 120.
Everything else is irrelevant, completely irrelevant.
So let me go ahead and get my. Why am I going so slow today? I had to go to the dentist today, like just normal dentist stuff, and my whole day has been off. So there's a whole list. This article is from Sysdig. If you're watching this live, of course, you know the drill afterwards. The links to all of these articles and posts will be down in the description, or if you're watching this on the website, devopsparadox.com, they'll be down below the video. But I'm going to let you go ahead and go for it, because actually Sysdig had a few extras here. But what do we believe is the real thing?
Yeah.
And what seems to be melting down the internet?
Docker is out. Docker is out from Kubernetes clusters. It's official. I mean, it's not today, but in one of the future releases, I don't remember which one. Or let's actually be more precise. docker-shim, which is component in Kubernetes that translates OCI commands interface into something that Docker understands, is out.
Correct.
And automatically means that there is nothing to translate things that every other container engine understands except Docker into Docker. Right. So Docker is out. So now, message to all of you who thought that it's not that important to remove Docker in Docker stuff and executing directly Docker on your nodes. Now, it is kind of, it was always important, but now you cannot avoid anymore going away from it.
Do people want to believe that?
You know what will happen is that the result of this is that many are going to stay on older version of Kubernetes for a while because of not wanting to invest on reducing the technical debt introduced by doing silly things in Kubernetes clusters.
And I dropped out. Yeah, I dropped out momentarily. Here is the deprecation notice for docker-shim, which makes sense. And in fact, go ahead. It's
very much aligned with the new strategy of Docker as a company. Docker is. So I've been hearing, over the wire, this is a blow to Docker and stuff. It's not a blow to Docker at all. Docker has regained focus, and focus is not Kubernetes clusters. It's developer experience, maybe, developer productivity, helping developers do their jobs most of the time before they reach production.
Yep. It's a good thing. And I think you had said before, or even this should have happened before now.
You have no idea how tired I am and how happy this makes me, because I grew so tired of screaming at people and saying, no, you cannot use Docker in Kubernetes. It's going to backfire. Now, it's same what I said in the previous episode, if I remember correctly, I might be wrong. We commented how Docker is not going to be the default choice in new Azure Kubernetes service clusters, right? Now it's removed from Kubernetes distributions as well.
Right. And there was this blog post that was posted on Wednesday of this week as well of don't panic, and they go through everything. Now, why should you panic? If you're doing Docker and Docker, you should be panicking. But
not only that, it's not only, I think that this kind of, this article misses an important point, and that is that it's not about whether you are using yourself Docker and Docker, but whether you're using tools which are using Docker and Docker, and you most likely don't even know that they're using Docker and Docker. There is a strong chance that every single one of you has at least one third-party application that is using Docker and Docker.
Yep.
You might not know about it.
I just resized and lost the thing I wanted to call out right here. Is this one right here?
Yep.
That's it. That's the summary of what you just said.
Exactly.
So don't do Docker and Docker. How about Docker on Docker? Dead
No
as well,
Docker.
right? No Docker.
Docker is from now on reserved for your laptop.
It is
There is no Docker outside your laptop.
Let's make it simpler. Docker is not meant to be a runtime by itself. Is that a way to say it?
I mean, it was supposed to be, but it failed to be.
Right. Okay. Let's not beat him up anymore.
No. I'm having a similar feeling about Docker right now. Last couple of months, like what the feeling I had about Microsoft years ago, when they actually regained focus and then changed the direction. And I loved Docker, I disliked Docker, and now I like it again.
Yep.
It's very different though.
Okay. One more thing, sort of in this space. There's been this little conference called reInvent going on this week. I heard
Is
it was
a 3 weeks conference? That's insane.
I feel for their people. That's just, I mean, they haven't been fire hosing lots of stuff, but there's been enough. But one of the big announcements, at least in our space, would be the EKS Distro, or EKS-D is how I've seen it referred to. Basically, it is what is running EKS. And you can self-host EKS. My words, not theirs. I saw a chart probably on a different post, but maybe it's under the FAQs. Let me look here real quick. No, that wasn't it either. I saw a post. It was basically a grid of showing where each one should be used, or where it can be used.
It's, to me, the curious thing about this, and quite a few other announcements in the last couple of years from AWS, is that AWS became the biggest player in the market, was the biggest innovator. It was a company that everybody followed. And now AWS is a company that follows. They're the last company to do this, to last.
Yep. But, so is EKS Anywhere, but that's different.
Hey,
okay, anyway.
AWS, if you're planning to sponsor this year, or if you work with any of our companies where we are employed, we were kidding. It's actually all good.
Are you being facetious right now? I can't tell.
You're going to have to guess. And especially since I don't know what that word means, honestly.
OCTOVERSE. Let's move on. I told you, man. I am not on my game today. I'm trying to get there. The 2020 OCTOVERSE reports are out. It's a really cool chart. 56 million plus developers on GitHub. 60 million new repositories created in the last year. Let's do basic math. Let's say the year only had 300 days in it. That's a lot of repositories each day.
I'm too old to do that math.
I am too right now.
But that means that on average, every single developer on average created a repo this year.
Yes.
Every single developer that is one way or another using GitHub.
Yes.
It's amazing.
If you're looking at 56 and 60, that makes sense. 1.9 billion contributions. I don't know how they count contributions. Geographical distribution, not real surprising. Or is it surprising to you?
It's not surprising. It's rather sad, I think.
Why do you say that?
I'm going to skip Oceania here because population-wise it's small.
Yeah.
Kind of those are very low figures for South America and Africa. Very, very low. Because population-wise, they're just as big as other continents, give or take. And it's a very low figure. And it's sad because in developing countries, software might be actually the easiest and quickest way to move forward, because it's not real investment, right? It's investment in education, so that's a lot of investment, huge. But outside of that, if you want to start a new business, starting a software company is so much cheaper and easier than starting, a gold mine or shipping industry, right?
Yep. Okay, top languages. This is the one that was most interesting. So this chart, it's hard to see on the stream, but this is 2014 all the way to the left and then 2020 to the right. Sadly, JavaScript has been number one the whole time.
It's not sadly, it's the only language that doesn't make sense not to use. You are going to have frontend.
Yeah.
Almost everybody does, like
That's true.
99%. And there's JavaScript.
Yep.
Now, how much of that is a backend, that's a separate discussion. But it's reasonable that it dominates.
Yep. And then you can go through. Python surpassed Java. That's not real surprising with the advent of all the machine learning. Most of that is Python. So that seems right in line. Types. This is where, so it was easy to track the top three, but then the lines go all sorts of ways. The one thing that was bad was Ruby. Ruby was number 5 back in 2014, and now it's number 10.
I will not cry over that.
Okay. And we're not going to really go through the rest of these things, but those were so you can look at productivity and all the other things. But one thing that they did call out was during the time this year, there's been a lot more open source project creation versus previous year. Why? People are not traveling as much, I guess. But anyway, this is a good report. You can download them. You can there's actually 3 total reports. There are wait, where were they? They were listed, right?
You know how I interpret the increase in open source during COVID? Is that I have no people breathing behind my neck and monitoring every single minute of my work hours. I can spend time actually exploring.
You can task switch a little bit. It's like, instead of going to walk around the block for 10 minutes, I think I'm going to sit here and try something out.
Yeah.
Even though you should have gone out and walked for 10 minutes, but unless you're in a lockdown area where you aren't allowed to. Okay. Go download the reports, read them. Let's get on to the next one. This one just came out right before we went live today. And ECS is announcing a circuit breaker built into ECS. I thought I'd size this, I didn't. So basically, and it's true for both EC2 and Fargate type, so now it can automatically roll back unhealthy service deployments without the need of manual intervention. What does this sound like to you, Victor?
It sounds like getting closer to 21st century. No, it's a very positive thing. It's sad at the same time that this is happening now and not a few years ago. But it's a very, very positive thing. And we've seen there's real increase in number of tools that support some kind of health checks with rollbacks. Yep. From basic ones like, health checking Kubernetes, the most basic in the world, until the complicated ones based on Prometheus metrics.
Right. I'm not going to call this canary, but this is very canary-like, right?
Blue-green maybe like.
Blue-green like.
Let's
Okay,
say.
fair enough. Yeah.
It's not really splitting traffic and all that stuff, but hey, if there is a problem. Now, this article is suspiciously scarce on information.
Yeah.
How?
We can see the blog post. Hey, there's a video too. By the way, if you guys, if you don't watch Containers on the Couch or From the Couch, these guys are funny. We think we're funny. These guys are funny.
Yes.
These guys are, and they're cranking out. I feel for these guys over the next few days because if they're going to be having to support another 2 weeks worth of reInvent. And also, by the way, do you notice what they're using for their streaming platform? If you had to guess.
Ekem?
Nope. StreamYard.
No?
They're using the same one we are. Yeah.
Okay. How do you know?
Huh? I can tell by the name banner that we actually don't use.
Okay.
Yeah. They're using the same thing we're doing. Theirs looks a lot better, but they also have a lot more marketing budget behind it than we do.
Hey, if we get AWS marketing budget, we promise that our production value will increase drastically.
Yes. I could poke fun at them too. They're also using a green screen because notice they both have the exact same back walls. Actually, they're not exactly the same, but they're using green screen.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll keep going on about that. So it goes into how to do it here. So there is a blog post. Again, this came out probably about 30 minutes before I finished the final notes. So if you're using ECS, that's maybe something you want to look into. Again, preview level at this point, but that's that. Okay. Terraform 14 GA. How do you feel about this? It's time.
I'm kind of it's iterative now, improvements. Terraform is already so awesome that I'm not really watching it anymore. That sounds bad, like I'm not following it anymore. It's just that it got to the level where there are no groundbreaking things, which is a good thing.
Yep. This was the one that I thought was very interesting, was the sensitive input variables. This was to me probably the most interesting thing out of the things I've dug through.
What does it do?
Well, you're asking me, and I'm trying to remember what it does because I looked at that like 3 days ago.
Sensitive. Okay. It's like a secret type of stuff, not appearing in CLI. Because my first, I thought it's case sensitive, kind of. You could write.
No.
Okay, yeah, that's a good thing. That's actually a really good thing.
Yeah. It will obfuscate the value from display in plan or apply output. So you mark it sensitive. Good. So user information, name and address, you give it true, and then when you pull it in, it'll do whatever it's going to do. That's the one I like out of the most because I'm more security minded than I am probably anything else at this point.
I'm security depressed from a few days ago, but we're going to get to that part.
Okay. But let's talk about Opstrace. These guys bounded out into the world. If you haven't heard of Opstrace, don't feel bad. The way I've seen them pitched as the open source Datadog. For people that don't want to pay or they have to run something themselves, this supposedly is the answer. I haven't spun it up yet, but you can quickly and easily spin it up in however you want to do it. Is it good that we've got a Datadog-like thing being able to be run on premise? We've had these for years. We've had Dynatrace. We've had all these other products that have been able to be on premise. Why is it important that we've got a good open source competitor to the Datadogs of the world?
I have no idea.
Well, okay.
Does it matter? I mean,
Next.
no. Honestly,
No.
kind of, when you look at it, you have small companies, and those small companies are really not shy from using a service instead of hosting themselves stuff, as long as the price is reasonable. And then we have big companies who want to host things themselves. And that's okay. But then we're not talking about open source anymore. We're talking then money is involved in those cases, right?
Yep. So again, this was public launch 8 days ago from the time that we're doing this, which is Friday, December 4th. So brand new stuff. Oh, we were talking about Docker before. And we missed this, we being me, missed this one, that Docker Compose for ECS is now GA. Again, you're silent. This is the ACI ECS answer that Docker Compose was added in a while back, and it's just GA now.
Yeah, so I'm in favor of Docker integrating with ECS and ACI and all this stuff. I just don't think that I think that Docker Compose YAML format is a dead end, because if you're going to use Docker mostly for development environments and not really to get to production, then you might not want to. I don't want to continue that story like with Kubernetes. Hey, I have Docker Compose when running on my laptop, and I have Helm charts when running in production. That's double the work, confusion, different results, and all those things. So I'm really in favor of what Docker is doing right now. I just, generally speaking, but not in favor of writing things in Compose YAML.
Okay. I won't make you say the C word again. Okay. Whatsupstream? I saw this, I don't remember where I saw it. I think it was Reddit or somewhere. But it's a tool to keep you up to date with the issues, good first issues, for example, of your favorite open source repositories. And it's basically, it'll notify you if there's an issue that you might want to pick up.
So
this could be interesting.
I haven't tried it yet, so I feel ashamed now. I should have probably before the show. But if there is something that will help me track the projects I care about, but in a more condensed way than what is happening right now, it would be amazing. Amazing, really. What I'm doing really, most of my time I spend unsubscribing from repos and notifications, simply because I'm swarmed with hundreds of emails getting from GitHub. So I don't know whether that's what this does, but if it could give me some kind of condensed information, hey, those things that you follow, important parts of those things are happening in, and gives me a daily, maybe summary or something like that. That would be awesome.
Yep. So anyway, that was a nifty little tool, I thought. Okay, we're going to go back to AWS for a minute. Code Guru has now added in security detectors. I'll get my little third up here. And basically, it's helping identify security risks from the top 10 OWASP categories. Security best practices for AWS APIs, and then just common Java crypto libraries.
It's a good thing, as long as that is kind of embedded into, that ends up being embedded into developer tools and not something as a separate service. Great. What I mean by that, hey, I type something in Visual Studio Code and I get notified while I'm typing. I don't know whether that's what this does, but if it doesn't, then it's not so good. If it does, then it's amazing.
I mean, sort of like your video from this week.
Yes. No, depressing information about that video is that that's the video with the lowest number of views since we started uploading
Really?
like 3 months ago. Yeah.
Do you know why?
Lowest number. I think because simply when you hear word security, most people run away.
That's part of it. It doesn't affect me. That's somebody else's job.
Yeah, that's not only that's somebody else's job, but whenever I hear security, I hear 2 weeks delay on what I was doing for the last couple of months.
The other thing, the second thing it could be, is there's still a lot of people that are taking this week off or took this week off.
Everything is possible.
So
I'm just, statistically speaking, the least possible
it's the
interest.
lowest. Yeah.
Lowest. Now it could be for many, many different reasons, but there we go. Now, on the other hand, Snyk is really amazing. I cannot express. I'm not the person who dedicates career into security, so security is not the focus of what I do. But being able to produce things that are secure effortlessly and see the outcomes in real time, near real time, it's just amazing. If I would need to, from that picture, what it says, developer first, that's the most important thing I believe about Snyk. It really made things easy for developers. It shifts things. I was about to say it shifts things from security teams. I don't think that that's the case, but it changes the roles. The security teams are more about figuring out the framework and the rules, and then the actual job of finding out that there is a problem and fixing it as soon as possible. That's now in hands of developers.
Right.
And to me, that's amazing. Any shift left is amazing.
Yeah. It would be silly if people aren't doing something that should be low-hanging fruit. That's free, just because they've never coded that way before, so they don't know that's the way that you program for that. Tools like this allow you to hopefully take care of those kinds of problems. So,
huge recommendation. Try Snyk. It's free. There are paid options, but you don't have to pay money to get up and running. So it's a no-brainer almost.
So you were saying, let me pull myself out here. You were saying there was something bad this week that happened, and you were having problem. What was it?
No, I was depressed because of this video. This video is the lowest.
This one.
The video with the lowest views, and I don't know. It's a strange week, or maybe security is not the subject that motivates masses.
Does it motivate you?
Simplicity of it, yes.
But
so
security, but security doesn't.
No. Security in a simple way as being one thing that is just part of my flow, without really investing in learning that much, and without having a full life cycle of something dedicated to security. I think it's very exciting. Lately I've been going through my repos and modifying my Kubernetes definitions and code and container images due to recommendations from Snyk, and I think it's absolutely awesome. And very often it's not one of those, and what was happening in the past is that you have, hey, this library has a vulnerability.
Right.
And then you start wondering, okay, so what? What do you want me to do? And Snyk is giving you really sensible recommendation, kind of, hey, this might not be the best option. Here is what you should do. And I like that I'm a dumb person type of approach. Sounds disrespectful, but hey, it doesn't force me to stop and now start Googling for hours to figure out what's happening,
what to do,
this thing.
Now, let me play the other side of this. And Patrick, if you're watching this replay, forgive me right now. Or anybody at AWS.
Oh,
Code Guru or Snyk, right? I'm putting both of these, and there's other tools that are in the same space. How can we actually trust these companies that they are giving us the right recommendations?
most of those recommendations are really based on public libraries, public information, right? It's more about how that information is suggested, what are the suggested outcomes, not necessarily vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities are public most of the time, right? So
Right.
Snyk is not reinventing the wheel over there. The way how it is giving me guidance, that's awesome. That's kind of Snyk specific in a way.
Right.
And what I like the most is how extended it is. Kind of, you think about the tool that you use or stuff that you do, and Snyk is somehow there. Do you write something in Visual Studio Code? Yeah, okay, there is a plugin. It will give you a recommendation while you type. You like Terraform? Yeah, it will give you recommendations. So it's one thing is to say, hey, yeah, you shouldn't create a VPC like this. But the other thing is to go through your Terraform definitions and say, used, configured in Terraform, not after it was created, right? You configured it badly in Terraform. And so that integration with everything is absolutely awesome.
See, I wasn't being mean. I was just saying, how can I trust it? And if they're going back to CVEs for real security problems and they're doing, usually there are remediations out of the CVEs, right? Or a remediation path out of a CVE. But for things that aren't CVEs, that was just somebody's idea. Now, hopefully they've crowdsourced it in some way, shape, or form to come up with what that should be.
And it's not really only CVEs, and this is the part I really like. It can go through your Kubernetes YAML files or Helm charts or whatever and say, hey, you should do this, you should do that. Now, there is a question, how can you trust that? But it's not simply only CVEs, right? It's CVEs combined with best practices. And this best practices is kind of special in a way.
Yep. Okay. Where have you been this week?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably did a conference or two. Something about finance sector. See, I wrote it down in the notes. I didn't remember.
No.
I already forgot.
Did you
And I wrote it down by copying and pasting.
Oh, yeah, you did. So you did the future of DevOps, and you did
Yeah, that
FinCon.
was- Yeah.
Yep.
FinCon. That's not my crowd.
That's not your crowd. So it would be one thing to say that if you were physically there, but I can really imagine it if it's virtual.
Yeah, I mean, I did my talk, I did my demo, and I don't know, whether maybe they were rolling eyes at me, maybe they liked it. You don't know.
Yeah.
That's the nature of being virtual.
Yep. And I had two things this week. I did just in my new role is Tuesday I did a how to install Jenkins on CentOS 7. Sounds extremely boring, right? Until you understand every piece that you should do. And then also the Jenkins project had a release this week, an LTS release this week. So I had Mark wait on and we went through that. It was sort of an experiment too to sort of see, okay, well, what does this look like? How can we better engage the community? And it's like, yeah, let's just do a live stream. It's like, they're boring. If Victor and I can do it, surely Victor and Mark, or Darren and Mark can do it. We did. But,
It was good, actually. I watched both of them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, well done.
Oh, thank you. Again, they were
your internet connection or servers in CentOS were failing a bit, but other than that, it was good.
Oh, yeah. If you go back, so I'll put the links down there. Yeah, it's like, I don't know what it was. I think it was a mirror because it took like 15 minutes to download a 200 meg WAR file. And I was like, what? And normally it takes, less than, I have about 500 meg down at my house. I don't have a very big up pipe. It's like 20, I think, which is still very good. But it was just sitting there, and I did it live on purpose because that was a manual installation. I wanted people to feel the pain of things that can happen, right? Just so you're not surprised. It's sort of, it was my variation of Docker pull, and I'd hit the limit. That's what it felt like. Oh, that was the other thing. I actually didn't put notes in there today. Amazon posted published their public ECR. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I saw it. Yeah, now it's grabbing, kind of like we know that Docker is moving away from the game. I mean, it's not moving away. It's trying to earn money, which will probably mean some loss of users, what's not. And now it's grabbing for that market.
Yep. Now it's still metered. It doesn't seem to be as extreme as what Docker is metered, which is fine. We've talked about this before. It's fine to come out of the gate saying you're metered. What's not fine is to be completely open and everything and then crank it down.
For public repos, let's say that, especially open source type of stuff, I'm surprised that one of the big guys didn't come up and say no restrictions. Because if Google does it, or Amazon or Azure, it's significant cost compared to their operations. It's not kind of that bunch of execs needs to come and figure out why are we spending 10% of our income on this thing. No, it's gonna be 0.1%. Right?
Yeah, the Containers from the Couch guys did a live stream either yesterday or Wednesday. And they were going through it. And basically all you have to do is just put public.ecr. I can't remember what the domain was. And it just worked. It was cool.
Somebody should just move. This would be kind of almost fantastic. Move all the images from Docker, mirror all the images, pull all the images from Docker somewhere, and just say, hey, instead of docker.io, I don't know, ecr.io or whatever the address is.
Yep.
And it's all there. It's public anyway.
Yeah. For anything that's public, no reason not to. So what else? What do you have planned for this weekend? I have a feeling you've got a video to edit. I know I have a podcast to edit.
I have a video. I have 2 subjects pending.
Do we need to take a vote? Or do you know what it is?
No. Both of them will be coming. I'm just not sure which one. One will simplify some things in Amazon. I'm being a bit cryptic. And the other one will try to prove that you can live with the cheapest possible. You can be a professional engineer with the cheapest possible laptop.
Even a Raspberry Pi?
Even a Raspberry Pi, yeah. I'm not saying more simply because I never know whether I will eventually publish it or not.
But I can guarantee you that those 2 videos will get more traction than the security video that you did.
Oh, yeah.
Which is sad, right?
Yeah.
It's just, we got to get, not that but we in the community have to get Snyk a little more normal voice, right? Just...
I understand that people don't want to spend days, weeks, months exploring and learning and what's not about security. I understand it completely. I don't want to do that either.
Yep.
But what I was trying to convey in that video is that actually it is effortless. Now, if it's almost effortless, nothing is fully kind of no effort, but close to no effort, then it's why not? But it's not anymore why.
Yep. If it's near zero friction, just do it.
Yeah, I mean, there is you spend a day, let's say. And of course, now, when you start writing your next Kubernetes YAML, and I'm using that as example, there are many others, yes, you will discover that something is wrong and you need to spend 10 minutes making it better or 15 or half an hour, right? Or 1 minute, depending on what it is. But that's already, to me, that's a different domain, because once I kind of convert that knowledge into muscle memory, then it becomes almost effortless, right?
What was one of the more interesting ones? You said you were cleaning up some of your repositories. What was one that caught you as like, oh, rats? What
It's
was...
for example, for some of the public, mostly demo images, and I'm always limiting all the comments to non-work related. Like I've been using latest, which is silly of me in the first place. And then I completely forgot that latest, it does not get updated when you rebuild the image.
Right.
It's using the cache.
Right.
And that means that some of my base images were quite behind, a lot of security issues, and just kind of like updating those already fixed like 80% of my image problems,
Right.
just by being up to date.
Right.
And that's a general thing. Now, I think that there are two kind of elements there. When you write stuff, writing it in a way that is security conscious, I add these things to YAML, or I don't add these things to YAML, or I write code of my application this way or another. The other thing is understanding the importance of being up to date. It's incredible how many security issues were detected and then fixed, and you're not benefiting from that simply because you're not upgrading your stuff. Simple upgrades fixes so many things,
but can also break many things.
It can break many things as well. That's absolutely true.
But would you
But
I would rather have something broken.
But breaking many things is not the problem, because that's waiting for you, right? Mm-hmm. It's not kind of, hey, if I upgrade tomorrow instead of today, then less things will be broken, right? So if something is going to break, it's going to break no matter whether you upgrade today or tomorrow or next year. It will be broken. So it's unavoidable, right?
Yep,
on the other hand, some security issues and other issues, not security related, are avoidable by being up to date with stuff. Because almost every serious software that we have today has at least one security item in every release. Let's go through random, open anything random right now that has serious usage, and you will see that every release has security fixes.
Yeah. So if you could at least get rid of the simple ones, and maybe not so simple ones, why wouldn't you?
And that's one of the things I like, kind of, because security is something that, those decision makers in companies that are pretending to make decisions by not making decisions. When you say the word security, then they suddenly make those decisions. It's a magic word, because nobody wants to risk their career over security. And I almost see it, hey, you know that how I've been telling you that I should upgrade my Kubernetes cluster? And you said no, because that's a waste of time and we have more pressing issues. And then nothing happened. But if I say, hey, because there is this vulnerability that is really serious, and if I upgrade, then that will be solved. And then you suddenly get the green light. Immediately.
It's fear-based. It's just fear-based.
Yeah,
that's all it
exactly.
is.
Exactly. We need to strike fear into decision makers. So so they do their job, which is make decisions.
For the managers that are watching this right now, do you agree or disagree? What happens when your rank and file try to strike fear into you? Is it a good thing? Probably not, but hey, things happen. So Docker's leaving Kubernetes, technically docker-shim, right?
Docker living code. That's the highlight of this episode. That's the most important thing in this episode. Your stuff will break.
Expect it to break. If
No,
it
no,
doesn't
no.
break,
It will break.
it will break.
I guarantee that
Why do you say that?
every seriously sized company has at least one Docker in Docker usage somewhere, guaranteed, and very often without knowing. So it's not about, hey, do you use Docker in Docker? And then we go through it and we discuss. No. The third-party applications, you don't know about it. They're using Docker in Docker. They will break.
Yep, that is true.
It's incredible how many, and that kind of speaks volumes about how huge Docker became, that the amount of workarounds that we all did to make all those things work somehow is probably higher than anywhere else. The amount of workarounds.
And now we're going to pay for it. Right?
Yes, we're going to pay for it. I can guarantee you now, right now, after this announcement, that there is a huge amount of companies having board meetings. And I'm talking about software development companies having board meetings discussing how to mitigate this issue, so that their software is not the one that breaks everybody's clusters.
Hopefully none of the software companies make the decision, just don't upgrade to 120. Let 119 be your last release.
Yeah, but you as a software company, you cannot dictate to end user.
No, you can't.
I mean, you can if you're, like IBM or Red Hat, somebody huge. So it's going to be fun.
And I'm not going to stress out about it.
And also, on top of that, I mean, let's face it, majority of people are not even, were or are not even contemplating any other option to build container images but Docker image build.
Right.
So apart from third party, which is something you don't control easily. Now, how many, no matter the tool, how many pipelines do we have right now in the open running inside of Kubernetes clusters, executing Docker image build?
A lot.
I would say that majority, like probably, almost certainly, I would now
70,
make a bet.
let's say 70%.
More
Maybe
than
a little-
90% of container image builds inside of Kubernetes clusters. I'm not outside, nobody cares. So container image builds inside of Kubernetes clusters, I guarantee 90% Docker image build.
Really? You think it's that high?
Yes. I mean, I still, when I mention to people things like, my mind stopped now. My brain stopped. About the tools to build images.
Oh, build a Canico.
Docker. Yeah, Canico, for example,
Yeah.
right? When I mention Canico, it's kind of, what? But to build without Docker. Why? Because you cannot run Docker inside of container. What do you mean I cannot run container? No, you cannot. It's physical. No, but I can. Look at, I'm running. No, you are mounting a socket. It's not really happening in a container. It's happening on the node. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then let's move to a different subject.
Yeah. And it's basically, I'll share this one more time.
This
is this problem right here. If your stuff has var run docker sock, you're toast.
And most developers, this is now a bigger problem. Most developers do not know that in their pipelines, in their clusters, that socket is exposed. They just think that you execute Docker image build. Yeah, most people do not specify directly, hey, I want to expose a socket. It's just, it is exposed. I mean, it is mounted.
Right.
Without people knowing. That's how Docker works.
Yep. And guess what? 120, it won't work.
Now, let's also face it. 120, that's coming when? What is now? 119. Is it in 120?
It's in 120. Yeah, so it'll be out in a month and a
In a
half.
month. But now on average, that means that majority of companies will have that Kubernetes version like
A
2
year
years
from
from
now.
now.
Yeah, a year, 2
Year?
years. Yeah.
Okay, you're more optimistic than I am.
Yeah.
Remember the graph that we were showing in a previous episode?
15 is still the
More.
highest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years. You're right.
Now, this is the part where I don't like it, so I'm going to speak in favor of something I'm not fond of. But this is the part where, for example, OpenShift shines.
Why do you say
need
that?
to do because you need to figure out how to break its rules to do stuff like mounting sockets.
That's true.
Kind of like it's hard to do it. You need to do it on purpose. It cannot be by accident or not knowing. You really need to invest time to figure out how to mount a socket in OpenShift.
Yeah, if you've gone to that much length, you should have just used Kubernetes instead of OpenShift. That's true. But people won't listen to us. Maybe they will on the replay of this. Hopefully they've gotten to this point and think, what's going on? What are they talking about?
But you know, Docker itself, company, they open source containerd, which is part of Docker, right? Kind of part of the end. It's the part that actually runs containers. It's OCI compliant. And it's most likely the most likely replacement in most cases for Docker in those future clusters.
Right.
So Docker itself said, hey, I'm open sourcing the part that how you should run container engines in Kubernetes clusters. Docker told you that. You just didn't listen.
Yep. No, I want the full development.
I don't think that they use those words, but hey.
Yeah, no, it's like, no, we want the full development engine. We want the full runtime with all the source code running underneath the hood.
No,
instead of just a runtime. Yeah, I know.
We want to have a Docker swarm in Kubernetes clusters. Nobody said that, but that's effectively what you're doing. Kind of like we want to have networking and storage, and we want to have a container orchestrator and a bunch of other things that we will never, ever use in Kubernetes because Kubernetes has its own implementations of that. Fun times.
It is fun times. If you're not part of our Slack community, you can go sign up. The link is scrolling right below us right now. DevOpsParadox.com/Slack. It's free. You can message us there if you want to yell at us. That's fine too. Our Twitter handles are down there. Huh?
Maybe it won't be free for long. Depending on the Salesforce. If Salesforce starts charging us, we will charge people as well, right?
or we'll go somewhere else. I don't know.
Shut it down. Yeah, Discourse.
Okay. Any other questions? Oh, there's Guillermo. Hey, Guillermo, you're showing up at the time we're leaving. So that's good. You can watch the replay. And Vladislav actually nailed it earlier. Docker-Goneski.
Oh, yeah.
That's the truth. Okay. Well, everybody, we are going to call it a weekend. If you are not in a lockdown area of the world and it's still warm, get out and walk around some this weekend. If you're like Victor, you can go from room to room, I think, right? Is that as far as you can go now?
Yeah, I'm going now to the living room to eat something.
Okay.
And then I'll be back here to make Tuesday videos.
Yeah, Vladislav, I was thinking about that. I've already named this title, but I can redo it. So what do you think, Victor? Should this be the title of today's episode? Docker-Goneski?
Docker-Goneski, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I'll rename it. Tag you.
That and some side title like.
Yeah, I've got the side title already. I'll replace the top. Huh?
It will hurt.
It will hurt. Docker-Goneski, it will hurt.
The pain is coming.
I'll figure it out.
It will be like giving birth.
Okay, stop. Just don't go any further. Just be done with that. stop. Everybody have a great weekend. We will talk to you again next week.